Megan had been in therapy for several months. She had started to acknowledge that her childhood was traumatic, but there was one thing she still could not do. She could not say no. Not to her boyfriend Derek, who asked her to cancel plans with friends at the last minute. Not to her boss Darren, who piled extra work on her desk every Friday afternoon. Not to anyone. She was exhausted. She was resentful. And she was secretly ashamed of how small she had become. Then one Tuesday evening, Derek called. "Hey, I need you to come to this work event with me tomorrow night. I know you had plans with Sarah, but just cancel. It's important." Megan felt the familiar tightening in her chest. She opened her mouth to say no. She had been practicing. She was ready. Instead, she heard herself say, "Okay." She hung up and wanted to scream. If that sentence lands somewhere deep inside you, please hit like and subscribe. Let's walk through this together. "I said yes again," Megan said. "I was supposed to say no. I practiced. I was ready. And then I just couldn't." Dr. Reeves nodded. "What happened in your body when you wanted to say no?" Megan closed her eyes. My chest got tight. My throat closed up. It felt like if I said no, something terrible would happen. Like I would die. Dr. Reeves leaned forward. "Megan, what you are describing is not weakness. It is a survival response. Your nervous system learned, long ago, that saying no was dangerous, that compliance meant safety, that pleasing kept you alive. This is the Fawn response. It is the fourth survival strategy, alongside fight, flight, and freeze. And for people with complex trauma, it is often the most invisible and the most damaging. Research shows that childhood emotional neglect and unpredictable environments are strongly linked to difficulty setting boundaries in adulthood. A 2021 study in the Journal of Counseling Psychology found that individuals with high levels of people-pleasing behaviors reported significantly lower life satisfaction and higher rates of burnout, anxiety, and depression. The cost of always saying yes is not just emotional. It is physical, it is psychological, and it is real. Dr. Reeves asked Megan to think back to her childhood. "What did you learn about boundaries growing up?" Megan thought for a moment. "I learned that my no didn't matter. If I said no to my father, he ignored me. If I said no to anyone, I was called selfish. I learned that the only way to be safe was to disappear." This is how complex trauma shapes boundaries. In dysfunctional families, rules are often inconsistent, unfair, or enforced based on the parent's mood. Children learn that authority figures make the rules for their own benefit, not for the child's safety. They learn that there is a double standard, one set of rules for the adults, another for the children. They learn that expressing needs leads to punishment, that showing emotions leads to shame, that speaking up leads to rejection. And most damaging of all, they learn that saying no is not allowed, that boundaries are for other people, that their own needs come last. These lessons are not taught with words. They are taught with silence, with punishment, with inconsistency, with the way caregivers respond to a child's needs, and they become wired into the nervous system. Megan realized that her terror of saying no was not about Derek. It was about her father, and she was not ready to talk about that yet. Dr. Pete Walker, a renowned trauma expert, coined the term Fawn response to describe this survival strategy. He writes that children who cannot fight, flee, or freeze often learn to please, to appease, to placate. They become expert at reading the room, at anticipating needs, at making themselves small and useful. This is not kindness. This is survival. Research shows that the Fawn response is associated with chronic patterns of boundary violations, confusion about consent, and a profound disconnect between what the body is doing and what the self actually wants. Fawners often describe feeling resentful after saying yes, but not knowing why. They describe feeling numb or disconnected during intimate moments. They describe believing that their greatest value lies in what they can do for others. Megan recognized herself in every word. Dr. Reeves gave her a small assignment. This week, I want you to practice saying no in low-stakes situations. Not to Derek, not to your boss, just something small. A server asks if you want more water. You say no. A coworker asks if you can stay late. You say you have plans. Start there. Megan was skeptical. "That's it? Just no?" "That's it," Dr. Reeves said. "And when the guilt comes, as it will, you say to yourself, 'This guilt is not mine. It was given to me, and I can give it back.'" The next week, Megan came to therapy with a small smile on her face. "I did it," she said. "A coworker asked me to cover her shift. I said I couldn't. I didn't explain. I didn't apologize. I just said no." Dr. Reeves smiled. "How did it feel?" "Terrifying," Megan admitted, "but also freeing." She wasn't mad. She just said okay and asked someone else. Nothing bad happened. This is the first step. Not a giant leap, just a tiny no. A moment of pause before saying yes. A breath before responding. Dr. Brené Brown, who has spent decades researching shame and vulnerability, defines boundaries as simply what's okay and what's not okay. She found that the most compassionate people she studied were also the most boundaried. Compassion and boundaries are not opposites, they are partners. Megan was learning that saying no did not make her a bad person. It made her a person with needs, with limits, with a self-worth protecting. "Next week," Dr. Reeves said, "I want you to practice saying no to Derek, just once." Megan's face tightened. "I don't know if I can." Dr. Reeves nodded. "You don't have to know if you can. You just have to try." Megan sat in her car after therapy. Her phone buzzed. Derek. "Hey, can you pick up dinner tonight? I'm swamped." Megan stared at the screen. Her chest tightened. Her throat closed up. The old terror rose. She took a breath. She typed, "I can't tonight. You'll need to figure something out." She pressed send before she could change her mind. Her heart was pounding. She waited. Derek replied, "Okay, no problem." Megan stared at the screen. The world did not end. She was still here. And for the first time in 25 years, she had said no and survived. But the question lingered. Why was saying no so terrifying? Where did this fear come from? The answer, Megan would soon discover, was not in her present. It was in her past. Buried deep in the woods, in a cabin, in the winter, when she was 9 years old and her father left her behind. Next time in the Megan series, being an unwanted child comes with a lifetime of trauma. This episode is central to Megan's backstory. It explains why she built walls. It is deeply relatable for many viewers. We hope you will join us for the next chapter. If you are ready to go deeper into how complex trauma shapes your life, we have 2 videos that walk you through the next steps: childhood trauma linked to adult procrastination, and how complex trauma shapes your life. We will link them in the description and in the comments below. Drop a comment if this resonated. Share what came up for you. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to know they are not alone. And if you have not already, please subscribe for more compassionate, trauma-informed content. You are not your patterns. You are the one who survived them, and you can heal.